What's in the map? What data is already preloaded for us? We have a states layer.
2020 population.
Is there population?
Yeah, population. There's a freeway. I said that.
Okay, so in terms of the layers, okay, so we do have the states layer. Maybe the states layer has some other information in it, okay? What else do we have? We have our good old Starbucks locations. Is it the worldwide Starbucks? As of right now, I don't know, because is it visualized? Okay. All right, so when we go ahead, we turn on the visualization of that. Oh my goodness, we have all of our Starbucks locations, our favorite layer of business information and where it is. Okay, but right now, do me a favor, go back to the way it was when you first loaded this up, where we're not viewing that yet. Okay, so we have our states layer, okay, which again, that is just kind of our boundaries of our states. Okay, and what else? And our freeway system, okay, which, by the way, is actually a part of a larger data layer that already removed the other parts. It's basically our interstates and our major highways in the United States. Okay, so look, I wanted to show you a couple of tools that are really helpful tools when it comes to managing data. And maybe, just maybe, you might be interested in using some of these for things that we're gonna do. So, not a trick question. What state do you guys live in? Virginia. So what do you say we go ahead and do something with this? Let's localize it to Virginia. It's real to us. Okay, we could do this for any of our states. Okay, so if we wanted to do this only in Virginia, what would be something that we could do? Let's start with our state layer, since that's what we're talking about. What would we do to our state layer to just go and get Virginia by itself? Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's filter. Okay, add new. State abbreviation is, what is our state abbreviation? VA. All right. Going to save that. And that way we are left with just Virginia of our state layers. Cool. Obviously, it doesn't impact our other state layers. Eventually, I'm going to want to do something with this Starbucks layer. But if we were to visualize it, let's be real, that's way too much information. And since we're trying to focus on Virginia, okay, what can we do with our Starbucks locations? Well, it already had condition the country is the United States. What if we just change that to, let's go, where do we have? State province is also VA, and save that. So that way we're not visualizing a whole lot. So right now we just have the Virginia boundary. We have all the Starbucks locations that are in Virginia. But for right now, let's turn Starbucks, the visibility of Starbucks, let's just hide that. So I already did this for you for your RV map data, but I kind of want to show you this in another way. Like, how did I get there? How did I do this for you? So ultimately, I asked myself a question. If I'm driving on a highway or one of the major routes of travel, and I want to know where the Starbucks are, I'd be willing to probably drive maybe 1 to 2 miles maximum away from the interstate to go to that Starbucks. If the Starbucks is 8 miles from the interstate, is that probably one that we're going to want to stop at while driving down the road? No. Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to be able to take that Starbucks data. I'll toggle it back on here for a second. Like, look, do you see that there are a healthy amount of Starbucks that aren't necessarily close to interstates? A lot of them are, or are major roads. Okay. But there are definitely some that are not. Okay. So I want to find a way to only show those that are close to interstates or major highways. Here's how I would accomplish that. Okay, first and foremost, I'm going to hide the Starbucks again because we have something else to do. Okay, and it's going to be this United States freeway. So it's just the freeways, major routes of travel. You can see like Route 29 is there, Route 28 is there. We have Interstate 66, we have Interstate 81, 64, 95. But we have all of this for the entire United States. So here's what we want. Let's go ahead. Let's go to analysis. Let's go to tools. And then down towards the bottom, I always forget where it is. I think it's under manage data. Yep, manage data, and then overlay layers. Okay, here's what this is going to do. An overlay is going to take two different data layers, and we're going to be able to only show the things that either are together, like if they kind of overlay with each other. We actually have the option also, they call it erase, where we can actually erase everything that's overlaid and just keep everything else. So I want to be able to limit our interstate network here to just Virginia because there's way too much information across the United States. Okay, so in terms of the input features, okay, for us, this is going to be our USA freeway system. Our overlay feature is going to be our USA states generalized boundaries. And notice how it's a polygon layer. So that's going to help us because we need to have a shape to say within this shape, this is what we want to keep or get rid of. Okay. So the overlay type, here's kind of what we have. We can have either intersect or erase. Intersect would mean that anything that's basically inside it we keep. Obviously, erase would erase everything that's there. We want intersect. However, and I goofed on this earlier trying to do this too quickly, what is the output that we want? For interstates, we want to keep that as a line. If we select point, it actually does some really funky thing where it just makes a point at the boundary of the state where the interstate is. And that's not really helpful information. Okay, so let's just go ahead. We'll keep the line. And everybody, for output name, just let's do interstates Virginia, and then put your last name. Hey, look, something that I need to do a better job of, okay? I want to go ahead and start using my folders better so that way I can start like putting stuff into folders. So my output name is just Interstates Virginia and then my last name. You could put your last name, or if you have the same last name as somebody else in the room, go ahead and put what you need. Always a good thing to do, estimate credits. How many credits are you guys and gals going to end up using here? Hopefully a very, very small amount. Man, this estimate credits is taking a long time. It should be less than 1 credit. Okay, so this is definitely something. But we always want to check this, especially when we do some of these analysis tools, because if we don't, okay, analysis cannot run with current parameters. All right, let's go ahead. Let's click run. You got the same message that I did. All right, well, let's just try it. I'm trying to run it anyway. I just ran it this morning. It should work for us. Why is it not? We do want intersect, freeway, run. All right. Have you guys clicked run? It is very, very slow this morning. Come on, internets. You can do it. Okay, I finally got that the overlay layer is submitted. It failed.
Job submission failed. The analysis cannot run with controlled parameters.
What? What is going on? Environment settings. Oh, hold on. Okay. Mine was able to run successfully. Why? I don't know. Okay. All right, so let's do this. Okay. Let's save as, hold on. RVH. We'll just put that there for a second. going to save. So, all right, hold on. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go to my content. I'm going to put that, cancel. No, I want to do that in a new tab. Content, open a new tab. All right, so what I'm going to do is right now, I'm going to go ahead and put this into our share group, just this data layer. And there's a reason why I want you to use just this layer. There we go. Okay. Change that. Org, edit group sharing, 2526. Okay, do me a favor. In another tab, open up your content. I want you to see if you can go load up the Interstate Virginia Talbot layer. Yes. If it works for you, you don't have to do that. Okay. Okay. Some of you, it might work. But what does this do? And let's be real. Okay. If you were only focused on Virginia, doesn't this look cleaner than just having like everything for all of the United States? Like if we really just wanted to focus on Virginia. Okay. So that's the beauty of the overlay layer. If yours didn't work, go to the share group. What? All right. Then you know what? With all of our interneting issues, just follow Talbot on the board. If you could follow me, great. Some of you are going to have some issues with some other stuff. So that's one thing we could do. So this overlay layer tool is very good at making sure that we have just the information that we need for certain shapes. So within that shape, we can keep certain things. All right, I want to show you another tool, another analysis tool. Okay, so I'm going to go back here to analysis. We're going to go back to tools. Okay, I'm going to go back. Okay, and we're going to find another one. This one, and by the way, you should still be able to at least walk through the steps. I just don't want you to run this for the entire United States, and we'll see why in a second. Okay, we're going to use proximity and do this one called create buffers. Okay, so even if you don't have this, you should still have our, United States interstate layer. You can kind of go through this with it. Just don't run it because it's going to run a lot more credits for us. Okay, so the input layer for this, I'm going to use my Virginia interstate layer. We said value. We have to add a distance here. What did we say? And this is just arbitrary, but what did we say was maybe a reasonable distance to maybe drive from an interstate for something? Let's say 2 miles, okay? And again, that's maybe kind of the outer boundary for me if we're driving along. I definitely would love for something to be closer than 2 miles, but we don't want 2 feet. We have to say 2 miles. This is actually a really important one when we go to run these. So you can do these overlaps where it's going to take every little thing. It's going to create this buffer. It's going to create information, like create a distance around all of this. But for every line segment, it will create its own line segment for it. And it actually looks kind of messy. So what we would want is we want the dissolve option. And what that does is if there would be bound these buffers that are created that overlap each other, it's just going to make it part of one big, long, shape. And that's what we actually want it to be. Okay, so we want it to be around. It doesn't have to be the left or right. We don't really care about that. And I'm going to call this the interstate buffer. I'll do 5th because we are here in 5th. Okay. Now, again, for those of you that have the whole United States, do not run this. 1, it will take forever. Okay. And 2, it's going to burn through a decent amount of credits. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to run it here. Okay. It's going to go ahead. This one will take a little bit to do because it's now tracing basically all the interstate layer that we have and going 2 miles on either side of it and creating a shape that's going to follow our interstate network. Okay. Now, we don't have it yet, but it looks like it's starting to come through. All right. So now here comes my buffer. I'm going to zoom in on this just so we could see what it actually created. So everybody look at the board. Okay. If you were able to also create this, awesome. But But as everybody see, we have like the tracing of the interstates in Virginia. And now we also have this other shape that's kind of around that. And right now, I could really go ahead, I could kind of turn off the interstate layer because this is now the information that I would want to have. I want to know what would be within 2 miles of our interstates or major road networks. Almost there. Does anybody remember, like, what was the question that kind of drove me to go to these first couple of steps? Yeah, where are the Starbucks that are near these interstates? Okay, that we're saying are going to be within those 2 miles. So now I want to turn back on our Starbucks. And I think here, like, we can now see, like, look, we have a number of them that are within 2 miles of that, but we also have a whole bunch of them that aren't. What can we do? I'll give you a hint. We've already done it today. But what could we do to help select only those Starbucks that are within? Not a filter. It's one of the tools that we did so far. The overlay, okay? But now we have a new overlay, don't we? We have actually this buffer that we've created, and now we just want to know, like, what's within that shape that we can do. So let's go ahead, go to analysis, okay? We're going to go back to manage data, overlay layers. And again, for those of you that haven't been able to click through for various reasons, that's okay. We'll do our Starbucks locations, but now our overlay needs to be this interstate buffer. Okay, we do want the intersect. We still want to keep the points. Okay, I'm just going to call this Starbucks interstate 5th just because. I already know that this is going to be a small amount of credits. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and run that one final time. Okay, going to take a minute here, and it's going to create one more layer for us. So the combination of using the overlay, I think that that's helpful for certain things. Okay, again, we don't want to show all the information. And let's say like somehow like filters aren't going to work. Like we don't have the information we need to be, but we wanted to go ahead and set this so that we would know, all right, what are all the Starbucks within Loudoun County? Maybe it's not marked as Loudoun County, but we can get the shape of Loudoun County and we could do the overlay to see, okay, where does this data, cancel, where does this layer kind of leave us? Where did it go? All right, run it again. So that's going to go ahead and give us that. Now, for your RV project, I already did this process for you in terms of the Starbucks, in terms of the Dunkin' Donuts, okay, because that was actually a filtered list. So I created, and that's okay when I do it as one person. If I were to ask all 80-something of you GIS students to also do the same thing for the United States, we burn through a lot of credits for no real good reason, okay? But I already filtered out for you the Starbucks, the Dunkins that are close to interstates. So that way, again, it's going to be information that's going to be helpful for us, okay? So I guess this is still potentially running over here in the background, but I wanted to show you these two tools because to me, they're actually two of the more powerful tools that we could use in GIS. Okay. Let's